All right, welcome back to another episode of the Loose Cannons. And today we are going to talk about our match versus Manchester United. Another win, 3-1, 3 points. Let's get right into it.
Yeah. Another 3 points, huge 3 points. Looking at that lineup, kind of shaky looking at it, but hey, 3 points and we're able to fight back again. And honestly, I think for the most part we played well at home against United, especially in today's Premier League. I think we should be getting the 3 points.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Especially after last season, being in first most of the season, being the second, and just finishing in second next to City. I think the expectation is that for majority of the top 6 games that we play this year, we should be winning majority of them, if not all of them. I think that's just the expectation that not only the league sees on us, but that the fans, as fans, that's the expectation that we have, and that's the expectation I know the players have, and that Arteta has for them is that these games against the top 6 teams, though we got to be getting most of the wins, if not all of them. All right, maybe a tie here and there. All right, maybe if we lose to City, but if you want to win the league, you gotta be the best. So we want to be the best. We gotta take advantage of these top 6 games, and that's what we did.
Yep. And to test a team like United, they got money. Obviously, last season they didn't start off too hot, but the way they finished pretty strong. They could have threatened us if we slipped up a little more. And coming in, you see they make their signings. It looks like they're adding some threats, but we are able to shut them down pretty quick, pretty well. I think we handled them excellently. There's just that one piece in our game that we keep questioning, and I want to back him. I'm gonna back him as long as he's in the Arsenal jersey. But some of the things I've seen from him, very questionable. Everyone can clearly point it out as long as you know what football is. Yeah. So I think Havertz, I think the only reason he started this week was because Partey's injury. Hopefully Partey comes back soon because I think it would just gel better. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Havertz, unfortunately, everyone's rooting for him. As an Arsenal, you're rooting for him to do well, but unfortunately, you see the little whiff right outside, right, by the 6 yard box where I was just praying he would score, and then of course Manchester United's goal came from a turnover from a bad pass from Havertz, and you feel bad for the guy. You want him to do good, and like I said, I'm always a little biased because I'm German, and I think he plays fairly well for Germany, and I'm still going to back him, of course, as long he's in as an Arsenal player. But I think maybe his role on the team might not be starting. It could be coming on as a sub and doing well. And I think that might be the next step is that maybe, okay, it's time to start Partey, which is what most Arsenal's fans want. Okay, he deserves to start Partey. Second half, bring Havertz on, see what he does. Give him, if he wants to play majority of the game, all right, just give him, 20, 30 minutes, let him start earning it. That's just how it should be. And you see this happening with Fabio Vieira. He's coming on as a sub, and he's every time he has come on as sub so far, I thought that he's just been brilliant, and he's just been a game changer for us. So I think that's something that maybe Fabio Vieira starts because he's almost earned that role. So there's some questions here and there, but always, of course, not happy with the performance from Havertz at all, but still going to back him. Think maybe just his role has to switch a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said there. Just it's not clicking. It whatever it is with him, his confidence, his mentality, because he's got the ability to play. At Chelsea, he had to switch his role a little bit. He had to play more up top. Leverkusen, who's more in the midfield. Arteta's trying to bring that back to him running onto those balls and picking up the loose change, kind of like Odegaard does, like Odegaard's goal. Just kind of sat back a little bit from the defense. No one was marking him, and that's just an Odegaard goal. That left foot right to the bottom right corner from just about the top of the box. That's that's what he does. But going back, Vieira, Vieira's been very surprising this season. He did what he needed to do in the offseason. and I have nothing to say about him now, except I want to keep watching the guy compared to last season. And the last season we talked, Jose talked. It wasn't fun to watch him, man. And we questioned Mikal. We questioned Mikal. We got as far as we did. He played, but this season is just something else. And like Havertz, like you said, was responsible for that first goal, for at least the turnover. I think Saliba and White on that first goal, they were doing the same job there as coach, goalkeeper. I'd just like to say that you can't play the same position with two people. It's just useless. And they were both blocking the shot pretty well. Ramsdale, he had it mainly covered, but it was a nice curler. Just snuck past all three of them.
Yeah, that goal was, Man United did what they were supposed to. They capitalized over a turnover in the midfield, a quick counter attack, and that was good football from them. And of course, you look at the whole play. Obviously, it stemmed from Havertz, but then you see maybe the positioning of our defense, and I also think maybe the defenders could have stepped more on Rashford a little bit. Maybe they gave him too much respect, and kudos to Rashford that he's a good forward, and he did what he did. He ran for a through ball, took it, cut back as on the left side, cut back to his right foot, found the far post. As a winger, that's your job and that's what you should do. And he's good at that. So, I think the defense should have closed him down a little bit more. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to tip your hat when they have a good play. And it was a good play, but we have to look at where it stemmed from too. Like you said, the turnover, and just it's 11 players on the field, so maybe someone might mess up, but you have your teammates to back you up. So I think it's just a goal, and it's not. We're going to see more of those goals throughout the season where we have a turnover. I mean, we saw it in the other game where Saka's bad pass came. It's going to happen regardless. It's going to happen. We're going to give up goals. They're not going to be pretty, but you just have to move forward. And something that we did well last season, we did really good this game. They scored, and not a minute later, we scored again and we responded. And that was so beautiful to watch, especially as a fan. And it's almost the most relieving thing for the fans, for the team, for the coach. I mean, just scoring immediately. It's like, all right, we just canceled out their goal. Let's go back to 0-0 and play. And that's the Arsenal style. That was, a theme last year. And I hope to see this continuing this year.
I mean, that's definitely the best feeling to get one right back. And especially that quick. As a fan watching it in a bar with other Arsenal fans and United fans, it was very deflating when United scored. And as soon as that momentum shifted, it was like going up to heaven. Even if we weren't winning yet, it just such a great feeling turning around, giving the banter back to them. And that's it. That's as a player on the field, it gives you so much more energy. You're going to capitalize like on the transitions. They capitalized, but you can also capitalize on the momentum too. They're up on that high, and we come sneaking right back, and that's how you get a lot of teams. It's just a mentality thing.
Yeah, the mentality is absolutely huge. And you see it from the players like Odegaard, especially, they're just lifting their hands up, trying to keep the energy, and positivity up on the team, especially. And it's been, a lot of the players you see like Gabriel, Zinchenko, everyone's trying to lift everyone up, get right back at it. And that's something we did. And just that goal in general. I mean, you look at it, just a brilliance. Like Martinelli was heavily involved in the play. I mean, he's just, he had the assist on it too. Nketiah, Zinchenko, just the whole play. It wasn't like a scrappy goal. I mean, we built up. It was Arsenal football. That's what it looked like. It was just a beautiful goal too that we scored.
Yeah, it was. And then going a bit later down, we talk about that momentum. That second goal by United called off because Gabriel was very smart, held up just a second to keep Hoyland off sides, and didn't seem off sides at first. It was very questionable, but thankfully VAR sided with us. And what was it? I don't remember the exact time, but it was very soon. It
89th
might have been
minute.
less than a minute. Yeah, and then what? Rice scored in the 91st, something like
It
that.
was like 90. Rice scored a 90 plus 7.
Not okay. Did he, or was that Jesus? And Jesus scored 90 plus
No,
7.
Rice was 90 plus 7, and Jesus was 90 plus 11.
Yeah, we're filming this almost 2 weeks later, so I don't remember off the top of my head. But point being, we're in extra time. We have to dig deep for those. And Rice saw the opportunity, knew there was little time left, knows we need 3 points, and he just pulled that trigger and got a little lucky. But I don't care. The way Rice has been playing, he's earned that.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely earned that. And just looking at it, just how the league goes from a Man United's, uh, point of view, you got to be pissed at that corner. It was awful defending too. I mean, Rice did exactly what he's supposed to do. He was back post. No one marked him. He takes a touch, which was kind of a little bit of a hefty touch, but no one was there. And he shot it on frame, little deflection in the back of the net. That's all that you can ask for. So, you know what? It's a mistake. We capitalized on it. So that's it. But overall, it was just good. And I was throughout watching the game, I think we must have had about 13 or 14 corners. And to be honest, I was not happy. I was very upset with our corners throughout the whole game. To be honest, I don't know if Arteta tells some of these players, where he wants it or how they really set up corners, but every time Martinelli, takes a corner kick, I feel like he just goes for near post and sometimes it just doesn't get there. And then on the other corner kicks, it just wasn't clicking all game. And I think that's something we need to work on. But you know what? We had one last corner at the end of the game and we scored off it. So that's all that matters for that game. But on the side note about the corners, that's something I think we need to fix too. But you know what? If you're going to have 10 plus corners, you got to score on one of them. And we made, the moment at the end of the game when it mattered the most. So I'm super happy for Rice. We paid the money for him, and that was $100 million goal. And like I said, every point counts. Coming to the end of the season, think of Reece Nelson's goal. It's very similar style goal, just different time in the season. But it's if you win the league by 1 or 2 points. If we won the league by 1 or 2 points last year, you go back to that goal from Reece Nelson. If we end up winning the league by 1 or 2 points this season, you go back to Declan Rice's goal. It doesn't matter. It's the fourth game of the season. It's a 90 plus 7th minute game winner against Manchester United. So early in the season, but always relevant. We got the 3 points.
Like you said, against United, that makes it even better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Martinelli, I think it's very clear. Fantastic player.
Yeah.
I just think he should be off of corners after that game.
Yeah.
He's got to hit the training ground a little more.
Honestly, I think he's not the biggest player, but he should be in the box. I mean, he's just he picks up the scraps or something. I think that he could be in the box looking. I mean, I've seen him score headers, score goals. Just he could be in a box picking up. Even he could get a header. Balls bouncing around. He could hit it in. I think he should be in the box, to be honest.
Or come short.
Just my opinion.
Or come short because he's got that skill, that flair.
Yes.
Yeah. And then after that, how about that Jesus goal?
Gotta love it.
I don't know if we could talk about this on the podcast. I think we might get canceled. That was some goal.
Yeah.
Vieira assist. Vieira played a nice ball. And, just to seal the deal, Jesus with style, with ice in his veins.
Yeah.
Cut and calmly placed that ball in the net. It was phenomenal. You don't see too many goals better than that.
Yeah, that was definitely a top-notch goal.
Yeah, that's just that Brazilian flair. And we got a lot of Brazilians, we got a lot of Gabbies, all kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
So Arteta's plan, he's cooking something up. And sometimes you just gotta trust the process. I know you said that. Everyone's been saying that since he took over. It's coming. Have some patience. People don't have enough patience nowadays.
Yeah, definitely have to have the patience. And like I said, I think, world-class goal. I mean, just just building up, and Fabio Vieira, like we said, just has been playing well. I'm pretty sure he played that ball one time, has his head up, plays the ball one time, great through ball to, Gabriel Jesus. You can tell he's just super composed on the ball. And kudos to Gabriel Jesus, who's been coming on as a sub, working hard, and he gets a goal. And it was, especially late in the game, the composure that he has. Like I'm watching the play and I'm like, if he shoots with his left foot, it's going to get blocked. Like, because he had room, but I think that was Evans caught up to him. Like, it's going to get blocked. And I didn't think he was going to cut. I did not think he was going to cut. And you saw Evans sliding all the way to the corner, cuts back, and just calmly passes it to the far post. Just classic, Gabriel Jesus goal. Like, what do you expect? Like, that's what we paid for in him, and that's the quality we got. And it's amazing when you can sub on a player like Gabriel Jesus for 20, 30 minutes, and he'll give you that quality on the pitch. That is absolutely amazing, and it's the depth that we need. And, him and Eddie, they're going to be battling out for that starting position the whole year. I'm telling you, the whole year, if they are both healthy, Eddie and Jesus, I think they're going to be battling out. And it could just come down to, what Arteta thinks that day. Because as of right now, it's like, I think Eddie should be starting. But then if Gabriel Jesus comes on and scores all the time, maybe he should start, So it's a good problem to have, I think. Of course, you want a consistent starter who's going to score, but it's not a bad problem. I'll say that.
No, it's definitely a good one to have. They're two different style of players, both strikers, obviously. And when you can have talent like that come through the ranks and just come onto the pitch, it's something special. Jesus has that magic flair. Eddie just working. And that's why he's getting the goals. Jesus creates them out of thin air. It's depends who you're going against that day. But I gotta say one thing on that slide. I think he might have ended up in Amit's row.
Yeah, I think he might have. Yeah. Shout out to Amit. I think he might have ended up in his row. And I think as a fan, we're gonna actually see our Giuseppe's uncle Amit in this Sunday, or he's gonna see him earlier. But I could just imagine that atmosphere, and I think we're gonna get him on here, and I'm sure he'll talk about it. But I was there for Giuseppe and I were there. Not last season, but the previous season, and we saw Eddie score twice, and the atmosphere was crazy when they scored. But I could not imagine being there. The atmosphere for that goal, just must have been out of this world.
Yeah, I couldn't either. And my first game, I saw Arsenal Man United back in 2017. That was some atmosphere, but this game, a little different feel to it.
Against Manchester United as well. So all, those top six games must be absolutely crazy. But I think, yeah.
Talking about different type of feel, Champions League coming up, we could touch on this a little bit. That's got to be something as well. And going back to our choices, you see we have some depth that's not playing. Trossard, ESR. Smith Rowe's he's got to be free. The Smith is back. He's not playing. He's got to be saved for something. You'd think it's Champions League, right?
We hope so. It's like you said, the depth is another good problem to have. And, haven't seen Champions League football at the Emirates in, I think, 6-7 years. So that's going to be also very exciting. Like I said, we'll probably go into, more depth on that in a later podcast. But I think just touching on that is something that everyone's just ecstatic about. And I think that the depth that Arsenal has at the moment will come a long way. It will come a long way.
Yeah, it'll definitely help us throughout the season. Just look at City for the past few years, even just last year alone with that treble. It's just that depth. It carries you. Players aren't getting beat every couple of days. They get the rest. Their bodies heal. Their minds reset. They're good to go. They're, one guy's off this day. All right, come on in. And that changes the whole dynamic of the team. Really keeps the energy up. And when one player is down on the pitch, another player's head drops, and that's it. You replace him right away. It's like adding a new battery, and the energy gets right back up.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Especially when you have some good leaders on the pitch too. Like I said, when you saw like Odegaard before and just other players like Gabriel. And just another thing, which I was, relieved to see, to say the less, was our starting back line, which I was happy with and which was the starting back line that I wanted with Zinchenko at left. Then you have Gabriel and Saliba in the middle and Ben White at the right back position. And I think that back line that those four, and obviously you're going to have subs coming too. You have QER and you have Tomiyasu who are going to sub in at moments too for us. But I think those main four for us, I think going forward should be the choice. If I think that's the choice we should go with going in the Champions League and our next Premier League matches. I think that is the defense that we need.
yeah, I think that is the defense that we need. Obviously, if you have Timber back, which unfortunately you won't for a few months, you can make the argument Timber should be starting. Zinchenko should be a little more super sub or maybe Champions League. So that's going to hurt us in the long run. Hopefully, Timber, we don't rush him back, but we get him back sooner than later because that would definitely help our rotation with Champions League and the Cups and Premier League. It definitely doesn't help, especially after just signing the guy.
Yeah. Unfortunate because the few matches he played very well. But
Yeah.
hope for healthy, speedy recovery for Timber. And like I said, we got the depth, so we move forward, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
And
we have next Everton in
everything.
the Premier League.
Yeah. And Everton, their team, they're gonna their team that's gonna maybe pull a trick on you. Obviously, they don't seem so strong, but they could hang out with the big boys every once in a while. Seeing them live in the United States in the preseason with you 2 years ago, I said they're going
Mhm.
down. Last year they almost did go down. It came down to the final day. We'll see this season. Obviously, they beat us last season after changing their manager. That wasn't a good run for us. That run, along with maybe one other run, may have cost us the league. So you can't take any team lightly in this league, as we keep saying. And this is another game. We got to go out. Just had the international break, so some players got some rest, some players got some reps in, and we just got to carry on, continue where we left off.
Yeah, definitely. Everton's not a team to sleep on. No team in the Premier League is a team to sleep on. You go out every Premier League game with the same intensity, whether you're playing Manchester City or Luton Town, you must have the same mentality every game that you go out because everything must be earned. Every day you earn those points. Nothing is guaranteed. So yeah, I think that when we go out against Everton, I think we've had, kind of a little rough history the past 2 years, splitting some games with them. So it's important, I think, to go out and make a statement to get an early lead and keep going and scoring. Because, like I said, I'm still waiting for that game where we kind of do what I think that we're capable of doing of going out against Everton and scoring 4 or 5 goals. I think we're very capable of that. And I think that obviously every game there's potential for that. So I think this Sunday when we play Everton, that is something I'd obviously 3 points no matter what. But I think my expectation on the team and what the league sees is that we should go out and we should, you know, put goals on them early, shut them down early. And, when you get a 2 goal lead, 1, 2 goal lead, you can't stop. You got to keep going, add 3 or 4, hit the nail in the coffin and, put them away.
Yeah. One thing we can't do is concede first. Obviously, we can come back. We have the capability to. But I think for a lot of the fans' sake, for their health, for their sanity, score first, score early, and just keep them coming, like you were saying. That's ideal. But obviously, each game is never going to go as planned. So, who do you got
Yeah.
starting in your lineup?
So starting lineup against Everton, Ramsdale in goal for me. That back line that I mentioned earlier with Zinchenko on the left, Gabriel and Saliba in the middle, and Ben White on the right side. And for my midfield, I am actually going to go with Declan Rice, Fabio Vieira, and Odegaard. So I think Fabio Vieira earns that starting spot. If we're gonna have Havertz going, as he's kind of more offensive minded midfielder, I think Fabio Vieira can go in there and play that position. And then top three, the same three that we've been playing with Martinelli on the left, Sock on the right, and Eddie on top.
Okay. I mean, I think mine might be identical to yours, but I'll make one change just for the sake of change. I'll have Ramsdale goal, Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Rice, Odegaard, and Vieira. Like you said, Vieira has been playing very well, a lot better than Havertz. Obviously, want to back Havertz, but the man needs to stay on the bench at least to start. Maybe you could bring him on. Maybe introduce ESR. I'm going to keep pushing for Smith Rowe because where is he? You don't see him. And then Martinelli, Saka, and I'll go with Jesus for the point being diversity. But if Eddie starts, I have no problems.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how Mikel's feeling that day, like we were saying earlier. Two different styles of players. Jesus had a fantastic goal. Eddie's been playing really well, really intelligent, really hard. So you can make a case for either.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I would not be upset with Jesus starting. So either way, I think that, like you said, we got to come out Sunday and go guns blazing and get a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And you
One
guys will
thing,
see, if you're still watching to this point, you'll see us, loose cannons in the city again. Like you said, with Giuseppe's Uncle Ahmet, got, the little Arsenal fan action going on in New York City, and we'll be watching the game and getting live updates.
and real quick before we go, I'm gonna say this live on TV. My cousin can vouch. Watching the game, we get scored on 1-0. I told him I think it's gonna be 3-1 Arsenal. He can vouch. He heard me.
All right.
So
All right.
yeah.
Love that.
Come on, you Gunners.
As
See you
always,
Sunday.
come on, you Gunners.
Yeah, Gunners, yeah.